Okay, so we are back to our large cluster of pesukim about wine. All right, so let's try to review. Okay. Lemi oy, lemi avoy, lemi midyanim, lemi siach, lemi p'tzayim kinam, lemi chachlilas einayim. To whom oy, to whom avoid, to whom conflicts, to whom prattling speech, to whom needless wounds, to whom bloodshot eyes. Lam achim al yain, labaim lachbor mimsach. To those who linger over wine, those who come to investigate. I think I'm going to get rid of this from because we didn't see that anywhere. To investigate mixed wine, or who to investigate or test mixed wine. I think that's the predominant interpretation here. Okay. Yeah, then our new pesukim, al yitere yain kiyas adam, do not look at wine when it is becoming red. Ki yitain bakos eino yishalach b'meisharim, for when he looks at the cup with his eye, he will walk in uprightness. Achariso kenacha shishach u'chutzifoni yafrish. So either his end or its end is like a snake that bites, like a venomous viper, he or it will sting. So it's either referring to the guy or the wine. Your eyes will see strangeness and your heart will speak duplicities. You will be like one who lies down in the heart of the sea, and like one who lies down at the top of a mast. Hikuni bal chalisi. And then this is in quotation marks. He hit me, but I did not become sick. And it looks like everyone's been saying sick, so I'm going to get rid of fall. I thought it was falling, but okay. Halamuni, he battered me. Bayadati, I did not know. Masai akitz osif avakshenu od. When will I wake up? I will continue to seek more. Okay, then we had a bunch of other translations. All right, our main questions, we tried to keep this broad bird's eye view here. What does it mean to look at wine when it's becoming red? Okay, that's just a very vague phrase. 2, what does it mean yishalech b'meisharim in 31? Because usually walking in uprightness sounds good, but this is clearly not good. And then how does it connect to the first half of the pasuk, right? Don't look at wine when it's becoming red, because when he looks at the cup, his eye he will walk in uprightness. 3, who is the subject of 32? Is it the person? Is it describing what the drunk person does, that he bites like a snake and he stings like a viper, or is it what happens to him, that he is like someone who is bitten by a snake or viper, or is it what the wine does to him, that the wine bites him like a snake? 4, what are the consequences? General question, 32 through 35. And then what's the logic of the order, if there is one? And then last question is, what is the relationship between 35 and the rest? Because that's the only one that is in first person. Yeah. Okay, so we had a couple approaches brewing yesterday. One approach was that this is a continuation of people whose relationship with wine is like one of sophistication or alleged sophistication. That was so it's a continuation then of 30. That and is people who are like trying to get the perfect wine and who are like involving themselves. Really is like an investment of time also. Like you're prolonging your stay over wine. Again, you could learn that whole thing as like people who just stay up drinking all night. But the way we were taking it yesterday fits more with like devoting a lot of time to it, investigating what's the proper mixture, looking at the wine when it's becoming red, meaning what's the perfect shade. Okay, so that was one approach we took just to the facts. Okay, that was one thing. Then there was Sean's approach, which was really focusing on the way that the wine gets you, which is in terms of the eyes, right? So the process is that you look at the wine. Do you have an interpretation of becoming red? No. Okay. So you look at the wine, and then your eye will walk in uprightness, right? His eye will walk in uprightness, which means that that he'll see things in a purely like idealistic way without any sorts of harms, right? He won't see any of the harms of the wine, and it'll just look like this great thing. But then at the end, just like a snake bite will inject you with venom, and then the effects will come later on, which will be debilitating. So too with the wine. And the debilitating effects are going to involve a certain type of delirium, confusion of the mind. I think this might actually be good with Sadi Gon's thing about when he changed the heart will speak duplicities to the mind will think duplicities, because I think messing up the mind, fits well. Yeah, what am I missing from your approach?
Yeah, and it's also the Enaka Yura Zarotis, right? It's going to also skew the way in which you, like the process of drinking wine makes things look less clear to you, right? Which then makes you like pursue things that you wouldn't
Right.
necessarily pursue.
Yeah, I want to explore that a little bit more also because of the fact that Yishalach b'Meisharim is definitely the opposite of Yiru Zaros, right? Seeing
Yeah.
things in a straight way and then seeing things in a warped way.
But if you think about it, like a person who's drunk, like,
Yeah.
so they're wobbly, they're like, they can't walk a straight line.
Yeah.
But if you ask them if they are walking a straight line, they'll
Right.
tell you, I
Yeah,
am
that's true.
walking a straight line. So that
Right.
is like the experience is like, I'm just doing things normally.
Yeah.
And you're completely oblivious.
Yeah. Oh
to
man, I
your-
got a good scene from Always Sunny that exemplifies that. I'll have to see if it's chat worthy. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have something for Red. I don't know how it fits in.
Yeah.
But like how like the whole idea of like red, like women not just in red because it's like an association with like prostitution or something like that.
I mean, I've heard that before. I don't know if that has a basis, but yeah.
I think it's in the Gemara.
Okay. I mean,
All right.
yeah.
The Gemara
So we did
talks
this one
about,
bit-
like,
we did this one
I mean, Asia Sky also wears red, so.
So I think something about spinning.
I'm abandoning this shit.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying I think it's Dasi Hudish, so not to for a woman not to spin like red yarn in the shook or something.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
It's broad. It's broad.
Okay, whatever.
I'm taking this as broad. That
Yeah. You're saying that it's the association is connecting it back to the woman, right?
Well, not just the woman.
Yeah.
But like red. It's according to this. If you buy into this, it's
Yeah.
like it could be like an association with like lust or
Right.
like all these other
Right.
this kind of
And I
stuff.
think that again, this is consistent with the previous cluster, right, which was about the strange women, and then I think someone translated. I think Living Knock translated Yiru Zaros as he will see strange women, and you could even learn that with the lying down in the heart of a sea is you'll sleep with these women, like there could be a continuation of that. We had a couple other isolated observations. I'm just trying to recall them just so we could get it on the table before we go into other stuff. I think at one point I wanted to suggest that hold on. I don't know if this fits in. I think I wanted to suggest this, that there's two ways to look at the wine in 31. The first half is describing the bad way. Don't look at wine when it's becoming red. I don't know what that means. And then the second half is saying the good way to look at it is you look at the cup, and then your eye will walk in uprightness. And the advantage, I don't even have no idea what I'm saying, but the advantage of reading it this way is it allows you to preserve the normal sense of Meisharim as a good thing, But again, I don't know what the idea is. What other observations? Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to saying that when it's becoming red is like when the wine is still like developing.
Okay.
And it's saying if you're like looking at it when it's still developing to see when it's going to be good, then that's going to be a damaging relationship to wine. But if
Yeah.
you're just looking at it when it's in your cup, like when it's in front of you, you're gonna drink it. But when it's not in front of you, you're not thinking like when's it going to be ready.
Yeah. So I still am going to object to that in the same reason I said yesterday on a factual basis is I don't think you can check on the wine when it is developing. And so, but I think we can still preserve the idea that kind of like what Oren was saying about the way that people look forward to meals or to like places where there is an excuse to drink, that could be the getting red thing. I just don't think checking on when it's developing is possible. Yeah, Sean.
You were talking about earlier at the beginning of shiur, like that the first pasuk is more that he's a connoisseur.
Yeah.
I don't see connoisseurs as being like drunkards.
No, so that was the interesting thing about last week's pesukim is that the way the Mefarshim that we learned took it as these are people who are trying to get the perfect wine, and we said that that's not usually the stereotypical drunkard, and so we had this I think this is from Oren's approach that is that your phone? Yeah. What do you call it? I think we said that it's talking about people who are either rationalizing their relationship to wine under like the auspices of they're enjoying the finer things in life, but really it's a hedonistic indulgence, or it is I think I forgot we had another approach, but we did say that like there are people who will do that is really they're engaging in the thing in a base way, but in their mind they're doing it in a like refined way, Yeah.
Could it be for the wine becoming red?
Yeah,
Right, they diluted their wine.
right.
Right? Could it be like you're looking for a more potent? Right.
Meaning more red is
going
going to be
less diluted.
right. That's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only weird
I
thing
did something
is
like that.
becoming red would
But- and is that
indicate.
true that like pure grape wine is red, not like a
Well,
darker
the-
shade.
It's probably darker. I'm
The-
sure it is
the-
darker.
yeah,
Right,
The undiluted stuff is definitely.
right. But it's weird that it's
But
become.
I was saying yesterday that maybe the becoming red is the dilution.
Right. Yeah, that makes more sense to me. But you're not making it more undiluted. That's the only.
And like, I mean, according to the couple of Gemara's I've seen about it, like it's not possible to drink there. It wasn't possible to really drink that wine. It wasn't enjoyable.
Right. No, but people would do it though if they really just wanted the alcohol. Yeah. The analogy would be I think Rav Moshe has a tshuva about chametz on Pesach and about I don't know what his psak is, but a lot of products contain inedible forms of alcohol, right? But an alcoholics will drink mouthwash, right? If that's the only alcohol available. So that would be like the analogy here. Maybe you can't say the way that you're saying, Sean, in the sense that they will take normal wine and they'll put in more of the undiluted stuff, to make it, Isaac.
Yeah, I was just gonna say about the facts of testing it.
Yeah.
There definitely were ways of testing wine that wasn't ready. There's
Right, but visually.
Yeah, that was the thing I was gonna say. I'm not sure if there was visual ways.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's try learning the whole cluster according to one of the Mefarshim. Okay. And let's do Metzudas David. And just for the sake of ease, I'm going to use since we're doing many pesukim, I'm going to use the Ala Torah just because I can just scroll instead of flipping lots of pages. But it's in your packet. Okay. So what did he say for 29 and 30? I don't remember. So he says, okay. And let me know if there's any footnotes because I obviously don't have footnotes on the Metzudas stuff here.
You scroll on the right also.
What was that?
You scroll to it on the right also.
Can I scroll to it on the right?
Yeah, meaning just show the pesukim on the right side also.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, so he said, "Let me avoid is miuchad tzakas oiva avoid vehim tzakas yalala." So he wanted to say it's crying like mourning. Okay. Midyanim are dinum riva imanashim. That's fighting with people. Siach is riboy devarim below haskell below seder. That's saying things without intelligence, without any rhyme or reason. Pitzayim chinam. What do you call it? Needless wounds. Derech hashikra lehiskotet lifto b'chavera b'kasher yachzer chavera v'yivtza bo nirek ilu pitzao alchinam. So it's the way of the drunkard to pick fights with people and then to wound their friend, again semi unintentionally, and then when their friend retaliates and wounds him, then it's like his wound was for no reason. Kizeh shepatza tchila. The guy who wounded first, lo midas asa, he didn't do this intentionally. Ki haya mevubal b'yeno, he was mixed up with his wine. Chachlilus einaim is abmimus einaim mirov shasias hayayin behu devar ganai. Okay, so that's just normal bloodshot eyes from the physiological symptoms of wine. Lama achrim is kol dvarim ha'elam yuchadim lehiman lama achrim sheves al yain v'labaim lachor achar yain shemazgo yafe. So that was, I think, where we got it from. That they're looking for the wine that is the best tasting wine, right? It's mixed well. All right, now we get to the new pesukim. Alter yain al. Don't set your eyes upon wine that is, I don't even get what the hispile is, that is becoming red in its appearance, which is good quality wine. So what we need to know here is that it's good quality wine. I don't know what the becoming red is. Someone who puts the sight of his eyes upon it, the chefto and his desire, bakos hayayin, in a cup of wine, holech hu b'mesharim. He walks in uprightness. Ein derech meukam lefanav al kulam. There is no perverse way before him in any regard. Lefanav al kulam. Yachshov Ki. No, I think maybe there should be punctuation here.
Yeah, the punctuation says, so like in derech ukam with one of.
Yeah, al kulam yakshov. Yeah, al kulam yakshov ki yasharim hema ki lo yavchin od me'ata. Okay, so he is learning that this is a distorted thing. So all of them, he will think that they're upright because he will not discern any more from now. Yeah, what were you saying?
I was gonna say maybe the wine becoming red is just maybe it starts out more like crimson or purpley, and as you add water, it lightens.
Yeah, that's I still think that's the best interpretation. Yeah. Okay. Achariso, it's his. Let's see if it's end or his end. Even if at the time of drinking it, it is sweet to the palate. Halo achariso mara. Its end is bitter. It's like a snake that bites a person's heel. And he doesn't sense it. And at the end, he'll become exceedingly delirious. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like an onomatopoeia type. V'nofeach ad hakod code. I'm all messed up in the head. Okay, yeah. Yafrish is hamafrish chaye ha'adam mimeno. So mafrish, he does learn it to separate. It means that the snake will separate his life, the person's life from him. So through its venom. It's a repetition of the thing in the same words or different words. Yeruzaros. Okay, so that's just talking again. So far nothing radically new here. Yeruzaros, he will see strange things. Dvarim she'inam be'emes, things that are not real. Kimirov hashikrus yidme sheroe davar ma ve'in kol ma'uma. Due to his drunkenness, he will see things that are not the case. He'll see something, but it's not really there. Yeah, just to clarify here. I mean, wine, unless you are like really drunk, you're not going to have hallucinations. But I do think it means that you're going to see things not as they actually are. Like it's gonna, you're gonna interpret things in ways that are not in line with what they actually are. So I think that's pshat. Unless they had like really different wine back then with hallucinogenic properties. Yeah, tapuchos is hifuch haseichel v'ha'emes, is the reversals of the intellect and truth. Oh, actually, on the hallucination point, I think this is worth pointing out. Whenever I used to teach Mishlei in boys' high schools, then anytime we came across any puzzle that had to do with wine, there would always be like a flurry of questions about, is this talking about this drug or that drug or that drug? A lot of pesukim about wine. You have to be careful when you look at pesukim about wine, because some of them are specifically about wine and drunkenness. But something like this could be about other substances as well, if it leads to these types of effects. So like, let's say like the seeing strange things and messing up your mind, that's definitely a category that encompasses lots of substances. Okay,
the basic idea can apply to any type of really.
Right. I guess though the question is how much of this is talking about the physiological effects on you.
Yeah, but you can understand those. I don't think this is shot, but I'm saying I think you could understand that more just as like stand-in for general bad things that'll happen.
Yeah. I also don't think it's shot. Okay. Now what's the being at sea? Believe yam, in the heart of the sea. Anshi asfina holechos beemtza hayam kisheharuach chazak. So sailors, that's the word. I was saying ship people. These are sailors who go into the middle of the ocean when the wind is strong. Darcham lios shochvim ba'avur chozek tenuas hasfina. Oh, so they're not sleeping in the middle of the sea. They're lying down because it's being thrust about so much that if they are standing up, they'll like be thrown overboard. So like you have to like lie down to prevent yourself from
That's like if you're like really drunk. You have to
that's also
sit
true,
down,
right? Yeah. Right. Barosh Chivel, yeah. Who Torin Hasfina, Shikola Chavalim Tluyim Bo. So it's the mast. Oh, is that the thing? What's the phrase? Tying them to the mast, like isn't that a thing that you do like?
You're saying like when there's like a big
Let's say like the captain has to be, he ties himself to the mast to prevent himself from being thrown overboard. Yeah. So he's saying that's the Shikola Chavalim Tluyim Bo. I think that's what it means, not that they're hanging from it, but that they're like attached to it. Oh, his so he's saying he gets seasick. His mind is confused because of the sight of the ocean and the quickness of the movement. Okay. Hikuni, he struck me. Odecha misnamnem, while he's still dozing, I think this must mean dozing on the other end of the sleep, meaning like he's still like he woke up and he's like still like sleepy. His lips will be moving al hamishkav about his sleeping lemor, saying ma b'kach shehi kuni be'es hashikrus. Who cares if he hit me at the time when I was drunk? Hello lo chalisi, I didn't become sick. Uma b'kach shehi lumi shahalum halmu osi b'hakaos. Who cares if they struck me with blows? Hello, lo hirgashi, I didn't feel them. Lazos masai akitz mihatanuma. And for this reason, when will I wake up from my slumber? The osif shuv levakesh es hayayin, and I'll go back and seek more wine. Lazehis here ba ma'od ki kasha live from shmimeno. And that's that last punchline. That's what makes it difficult to separate from. So let's take that last line. Yeah.
So that was like reminding me of like what we were saying yesterday.
Yeah,
like
me too.
Like the invincibility, like complex kind of thing.
Right.
It doesn't come about from, well, everybody wants it, and then wine can give it to you.
Right. So this is what I want to explore, because I think I'm sensing today that that's the most important line of this whole thing, right? Because what it's doing, usually when Mishlei is talking about the consequences as the main impetus for your decision to avoid this stuff, here it's listing the consequences, which is obviously a reason to avoid it. But the idea is that wine has a property that will make you loop back into it. And I think it comes from the beginning and from 31 and 35. It's the Mesharim and the I didn't feel anything, so let's see if we can get that idea. I feel like that's, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's more than just being looped back into the drinking. I mean, aside from the fact that the drinking is bad in its own right? That
Yeah.
wine is bad for your body, but it's also bad to be hit consistently.
Right.
So like he's gonna get like on both sides.
Right.
Like that's what the drawing is gonna do.
Yeah.
Hit him like all over.
Right. Let's just talk this out and differentiate from other taivas, because I think that would make it clear here. So other taivas, so all taivas are addictive, and all taivas are going to have consequences. But in certain taivas, and here's the interesting thing. This is what I want to get into. Other taivas do have the propensity to, despite the consequences, you're attached to the behavior and you keep coming back for more. That's like the Mishlei is, like a dog that returns to eat its own vomit, so too a fool repeats his foolishness. That's one of my favorite ones, right? And the flame shot there is the, let me just see where that pasuk is.
Dogs do that. So.
Yeah, Kikelev Shav. Right, so the dog will eat something and then vomit it up. So a rational being would say, oh, that means I shouldn't have eaten it, right? Then the dog will eat it again. This is 26:11. Kelev Shav al Ko Ksil Shona Bivalto, right? So that's what the fool does also, is the fool does something, gets the consequence, and then goes back and does it again. the paradigm example of this was in Shalhevet. There was this ninth grader who was allergic to fruit, and she would get like this. She would get like her face would get all puffy, and like I don't know if it made her have a hard time breathing, or whatever. So like I discovered this because like she had an allergic reaction one day, And then later on, like some other time later in the year, I see her sitting in class eating a bowl of fruit. And I'm like, I thought you're allergic to fruit. And she said, yeah, but it's so good. And sure enough, her face got So I think of that whenever I think of the repeating the foolishness thing. It was like such a classic Mishleic, like there's like a purity, a naive purity to that type of Mishleic foolishness, Yeah, anyway, so that's an ordinary taiva, but here, and also ordinary taiva has the ability to distort your thinking, right? That's the another pasuk. This is a very general Mishlei pasuk here. Derech. Oops, sorry. Achariso derech. Oh, I thought it was a pasuk. Derech mavis. Let's see. Waiting. Yeah. Yesh derech yasher livnei ish v'achrisa. That's why achrisa darchei mavis. There is a path that is straight before a person, but its ends are ways of death.
Exactly the same in two places.
That can happen. Is it the same?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that can happen. Yeah, that's yeah. You know the approach to that is because the complaining pasuk is also in two places.
Notice usually that like if it ends up in like the last like couple, it's because like the other people wrote it.
Yeah, right. So that would be one approach is if
That's
it's
not
in
what here.
chapter 25 and on, then yeah. So the approach is you look at the context because here you have to differentiate based on the context. So
Right,
that's a good thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I realized that this one is in two places. Yeah. So again, I'm sure that there's a lot of mafarshim there, but plain shot is this is talking about like all bad decisions is that it looks, looks straight and it's dark and mavis. So the question here is what makes wine so different? And the clue is going to be in 31 and 35, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Metzudas did say that it makes all paths
Right.
straight,
That's true.
which is just.
That's
just
true. That's
one path.
right. Not just the path of the taiva.
Yeah,
that
because
you're-
it's gonna be something that's going to make you make bad decisions in
Right.
all scenarios.
Right. That's a good
Yeah.
point. Right. So in other words, the guy who was like seduced by the strange woman of the previous pesukim, he's going to say that this path of adultery is straight, or this path of the prostitute is straight. But that's not going to spill over into his decision making in business or whatever, But with the wine, then while you're drunk, then it will mess up your perception, and will make you prone to making bad decisions in other areas. Right. Okay. So that's one thing.
But it's-
Yeah.
It seems like it's more than that though.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's one thing. Yeah.
Because 31 is saying like has done like a lot of Dafkis you've been drinking it at 31, which is a strange thing.
That's also true. Okay, so that's a good point. You know what this reminds me of? The Nachash, right? That's all. That also we noticed that when we learned on Yom Kippurim, that she actually starts getting affected by the Metzudas Tov Ra before she eats from it, right? So that's the V'yomer Hanachash al Hisha lo mos temusun. The snake said to the woman, "You will surely not die." Bereshis chapter 3, pesukim 4 through 7. God knows that on the day you eat from it, your eyes will be open and you will be like gods, like rulers, like judges, knowing good and evil. So as soon as he says that, the woman saw that the tree was good for eating, and that it was desirable for the eyes and endearing to become intelligent, and then she ate, so it starts affecting her before she eats it. So it's just reminiscent of this. I mean, and again, that is also true of other taivas, that like the guy who's eyeing the woman, the fantasy distorts his mind, not just the indulgence and the pleasure. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, but then we got 35, right? So what exactly is going on in 35? Because again, plain shot is if these bad things happen to him, he will have bruises, or let's say like he spent a bunch of money on like something stupid, or like he gambled away his money, or like made some sort of agreement, he will see the evidence of that. It's not like he doesn't see it,
No, it makes him not see it though.
What makes it what?
What makes him not see it though?
Yeah, more wine, right. Yeah, so that maybe that's the thing, is the self-destructive spiral is in order to avoid this is definitely true. I don't know if this is what the puzzle is saying, but in order to avoid confronting the ramifications of his last night's drunkenness, then he'll escape even more. But that doesn't quite fit in. I don't see how that fits into they struck me and I did not become sick, battered me, but I don't know. Right. Yeah, Isaac.
I think I think there's like there's like a short-term solution and there's a long-term solution when this happens.
Yeah.
There's like the long-term solution is stop drinking and fix whatever problems there are.
Yeah.
But the short-term solution is if you drink more, you won't be in pain.
Right.
And I think there's like I think the what he's saying in 35 is when it happened, I wasn't in pain because I was drunk.
Right.
If I drink more, I won't be in pain again.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So he's yearning for the state of no pain. That's like what you were saying earlier time. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And that's also different from taivas, because in other taivas, I mean, all taivas are prone to a degree of escapism.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say like, I mean, even something, let's say like video games, right? Like, escapism or work as a taiva, you can escape into that. So all of them are going to have that, but none have that quality as literally of the feeling of invulnerability as the wine, because it numbs you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the fact that
Go ahead.
yeah, I'm also emphasizing the fact that it's not just that this is an escape, but the easiest way to escape the problems that it created is to go further into it.
Right. Yeah. So let's contrast that again with let's say you commit adultery, right? And all of a sudden you have all these problems that are confronting you. So the way to solve it is not to commit adultery again, right? So that's not going to be the solution that presents itself. And in fact, you're going to have an impulse away from it until the taiva is awakened again. Here, I think that all right, this is a good point, right? So that the way the very bad thing that generated the consequences pulls you into that thing as a remedy for the consequences. Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
because it also has a lasting effect.
Yeah,
and there's no state within like your stupor, let's say, where your drunkenness, that you're in a lucid state where you can worry about something. Right. That's also true, right? It gets rid of there's the consequences physically in the external world, but then there's the internal consequences of the worry and the anxiety about the thing that you don't have to deal with.
Your prefrontal cortex. I remember looking it up a couple of years ago. I was like, why do we just get stupid when we drink alcohol? And like it literally blocks off like the rational decision making part of your brain. So like. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so can we just sum this up? Because I feel like, because I was looking again, it's very tempting to just read this and be like, oh yeah, alcohol is bad, and almost saying it's bad, but it's there. I want to walk away with like a concrete chidush that's nicely packaged. So like I feel like we've got it here. We just haven't wrapped it with a bow yet. So let me just state the chidush points so far, right? Is that unlike other taivas, which will distort your thinking in a particular area, wine distorts your thinking in all areas. Okay. Unlike particular taivas that have their own consequences that stem from within them, wine exposes you to many bad decisions that in theoretically unlimited arenas, like the guy who drives drunk and the guy who fights with his spouse, wrecking, your car and killing people is a very different zone of consequence than ruining a relationship, but it's the same cause in wine, that's why I like my pshat that I don't think you need a pesukim Mishlei to tell you that you are delirious when you are drunk. But I think the mashal for lying in the heart of the sea is the danger element of it, that you're basically like putting yourself out there into a place where anything can happen, and then being on the top of the mast. So in terms of the potential for generating consequences is unlimited. And then unlike other consequences of indulging in taiva, where you can see the consequence and feel the pain, and that could deter you from going to it more, wine presents the solution by going back into the thing again. Yeah, Sean.
Yeah, can we say that wine's propensity to distort all reality is what makes it such a ideal escape, right? Meaning the thing that is pulling him back in is this reality.
Right. I think so. Yeah, I think that's a good shot. I think I mentioned that shot with the going back to the Metzudas tovara about the machlokes about what the fruit was. We said that the question was really, the different fruits are allegories for what is the underlying drive behind all bad decisions. So we said the figs is like hedonism, and the bread is like industry and domination of the world, and then the wine is the escape. The grape, I should say. Having said all this, I think I'm more comfortable with Ariel's pshat for the first two pesukim. Oh, perfect timing. Which is Ariel wanted to say that. Actually, hold on. Either Ariel or Oren. I know it could work for both of them, right? Ariel wanted to say that pasuk 29 is describing the stereotypical drunkard and holding him up as an example for someone who is prone to an unhealthy relationship with alcohol.
And Oren, you were saying more that, well, you were also saying though that like, that, okay, yeah, you were saying that also. I was thinking that you were saying though that you put the emphasis on the, and that's you, right? Like the, that move.
Yeah, I think that's just part of the structure.
Right. But in other words, I want to move away from
Same
the
person, though.
right. I feel like, see, what I'm struggling with here is those pesukim that describe like the connoisseur's relationship to wine. You know, why is he highlighting that? If that's a shot. Well, he is saying that the guy is seeking out the best quality wine.
The best tasting.
Best tasting, yeah, right.
But best tasting is different than like, I mean, he's doing it for like the enjoyment and fan.
Right. Yeah. No, the point is that he's not doing it to get drunk. Yeah. He's doing it for the taste, and that's why you also have like in pesukim you have shechar, which is going to be again I don't really know what kind of shechar they had back then, but I think shechar was more for the drunkenness. Yeah.
Then why is it at the last pasuk? Wouldn't it make more sense if it was like I want to like seek the drunkenness, not seek the...
Well, no, so that's why I'm not saying that this is about connoisseurs. I'm saying this is about people who are actually alcohol abusers who fancy themselves as connoisseurs, you know, and that's why I'm trying to incorporate that into the idea also, you know, that this is just a ruse, you know. Yeah. It could just be that that's a gateway, you know, like that or a thing that will make the person not realize that they're in this category, you know. Yeah. Like, oh, if I really wanted to get drunk, then, or if I was really a drunkard, I would just buy a bottle of cheap vodka. Right. So the fact that I'm like looking for the best wine means that I'm not involved in this problem. But in fact, if you are saying oi and avoy and getting wounds, so it doesn't matter if you're looking for the best wine, you are this category. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could also say that because when a person's drinking wine, they really don't know how drunk they are.
Yeah.
So they can still maintain that image of themselves.
Right.
As somebody who, I mean, I only had a little bit less.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's
like a crazy thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's another example of the amplification of other taiva qualities. Like Rabbi Moskowitz always says that the emotions can't distinguish quantity, right? So wine with drunkenness, that's true physiologically as well. Like you can't discern, you know, the quantity. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this in the remaining minutes. Let's read Rabbeinu Yonah and then set that up for examining it tomorrow. And this one I am going to use the packet, as annoying as it's going to be, because I trust the gear some more. Okay. All right. So we had 29. It started on the other page, right? Start on the 30 page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no. The new always starts on.
Oh, it does. Okay. So slow. Where are you, Rabbeinu Yonah? Oh, on the previous page. I see. That's where I'm getting mixed up. Okay. Let me yeah. Avono al chataso. So oi is on his avon and his chait. Ki hayayin mevi es adam lidei zima. So that he's the one who says that it brings you to promiscuity. Al kain samach inyan hayayin inyan zona benachriya. That's why it juxtaposes the two topics. It's going to give anger and yield anger and quarreling. It's going to cause you to be a blabbermouth. It's going to make you sick. It's going to make your eyes red. Okay, now we skip 2 pages. So frustrating. Yeah, but then it's not going to be on the video. Okay. Okay. Yeah, such sacrifices I make. These are people who are marbed b'mishtei, right? That's what I guess the ma'achrim. Oh, that's the other place where we got it, Sean, is they don't dilute it to diminish its strength, only to make it taste better. And they're looking for the proper measure to make it taste really good. Again, not that we have to learn it that way, but that's where we got it last week. Okay, then skipping to 31. Al terayayin ki yis adam, al tabit el mar'ehu kasher yis adam. Don't look at its appearance when it's becoming red. Pen tosif tava laharbos b'mishtehu, lest you increase taiva to increase your drinking. This is almost making me wonder. This is a crazy question. Did their wine change color? Is there there are definitely certain things that change color when they're exposed to when they're out or exposed to. I gotta ask my people and see if
When there's water, when is this during the Mezida?
Well, that was Chaim's shot, which I still think is the best shot, but I don't know, the becoming thing still even is weird when you use lashon maziga. Okay, ki yitain bakos eno yofi mar'ehu milashon kein habdolach. Oh, eno here he's saying means beautiful appearance. When you look at the beauty of the cup, okay, like kein habdolach, like the beauty of the bedolach stone. Yishalach b'mesharim ki az yisaveh adam laharbos b'mishteu. So you're gonna want more, right? So that is the thing, is that that's why the bottles of alcohol that are really expensive have really nice, the bottles are really nice, when he's drinking the wine, he will not sense its harm. He'll walk in uprightness. Wow, so very short commentary here. Its end is like a snake that bites. He won't sense its damage in the beginning. Then he'll increase the wound. So that's interesting. So zaros is not hallucinations; it's fantasizing. So that is the what do you call it? That's the mixing up your mind. Okay, so it means he's in a state of anxiety. That's, the way we explain it, he's not in a state of anxiety. Hikuni bal halisi halumuni bal yadati mirov he's covered yetzer tavas mishtei due to the abundant overpowering of the desire for wine. Lo yashis libo el nizko. He will not pay attention to its harm. So that's also slightly different than what we had, right? That's not saying that he doesn't feel the harm when he's drunk. It's saying that the taiva is going to overpower him to overlook or minimize the harms. Rak yeshabchenu v'yishkach kol nizkav. That's a ride for what we were saying. He wants to drink it and forget all of the harms. V'yazkir to'elas achas. He mentions one to'elas. Oops, now the packet is, I didn't do the last page of the packet. Hold on, let me get the actual book. So I can make sure I'm using the right one. Wow, what a cliffhanger, right? He mentions one benefit of wine. I assume it's benefit of wine. Tuelas v'yakir tuelas achas. He mentions one benefit. Which comes from it. Yomar, he says, Ki hayayin yaser kol anacha v'lo yargish adam l'tzair inyani hazman. Wine will remove all groaning and will cause a person to not sense the pain of the present. That is interesting. So he's saying that can be a benefit. Okay. I have a good shot for that from Rabbeinu Roof. Masai akit osif avakshena od. When will I get up and seek more? In haish hazeh misavel lahakit mi. This guy does not want to wake up from his yain. Kim lahosif lebakesh mishtei yain, unless it's to wake up to drink more wine. So Rabbi Maruf gives a shot, and I would look for it in writing, but I don't remember where it is. But it's based on this pasuk, Tain yain lamare nefesh. We're almost this is almost temporally relevant. It's a Mishlei. Tain shechar le'ovid v'yain lamare nefesh. Give wine to the person who's lost. Give a shechar to the person who's lost, and wine to the embittered souls. So it is saying that if you are sad, wine can dull the sadness. And I assume that that's the reason for the non-Jewish custom of a wake, right? Of having a huge drinking party when someone dies, right? Is certainly an Irish wake is that an Irish wake, or am I culturally insensitive? Irish wake, celebration of life, tradition of an Irish wake. I'm pretty sure they drink.
One of the two pictures that showed up was drinking.
Yeah. Very mint, yeah. Whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. At least, yeah. Right. Anyway, So this is Rabbi Maruf's shot of drinking on Purim.
Sad?
Yeah, and so I don't remember what he says, but I remember this might not be what he said. This might be what I am constructing from him associating. He definitely quoted that pasuk, but the galus of Persia was not complete, right? I mean, sorry, the Gula was not complete, right? And that's why it ends on a bad note. V'yasim melech Achashverosh mas al haaretz v'yeheyam. That's also why we don't say Hallel according to one shita, because Adayin of the Achashverosh hayu. So that even though we have this day of Simcha, we realize that we're still in Galus, and we have wine to like cope with that. I have to find where he writes about it at length, because it wasn't, I don't think it was that, but it was I'd never seen that angle before, because usually people automatically associate the yain of Purim either with Simcha or with Mishteh, not with mourning, and I think that was an interesting thing. Okay, so tomorrow let's check out the Meiri and maybe derech nistar and see what happens. Yeah, okay, good. We got one good approach to this. I think I'm happy about that. Okay, see ya.